Welcome to Australia.
You know what I used to watch in Australia? Neighbours.
It's also home to
Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
and generations of Italian immigrants. In this episode, we go deep into the minds of some of the most dedicated calcio fans to talk about all the issues with Italian football and how it can get back on top. We also talk about Australian homegrown soccer. We relive the glory days of Italy versus Australia in the World Cup. Our lucky Napoli fan relives the glory. Our disgruntled Milan fans offer their advice to Max Allegri. And should Serie A play an official game on Aussie soil? All this and more on our Destination Calcio episode, Down Under. Destination Calcio, the destination is Brisbane in Australia. The sun's shining, it's winter, no one would know, but they think it's summer. And I've got three of the biggest calcio fans that I know in this land, and we're going to go with a quick introduction for each one.
Paul Schiavo, Forza Milan sempre.
Carlo Giliberti, sempre Forza Napoli.
Sam Virzi, Forza Milan sempre.
So we've got one reigning champion and a couple of others that are used to the pedigree but perhaps aren't getting the results that they want to see. So we're going to get into a little bit of what Milan can do to get back on top. Maybe they have to follow Napoli's lead. What do you think, Carlo? And look, first of all though, you guys have to wake up first thing in the morning to watch calcio. It's a tough job. I grew up doing the same thing. You've been doing it for longer than us, just marginally. Tell us about your journey. Obviously Italian background, and especially 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, having to deal with this situation where we wake up first thing.
You get used to it after a while, and you actually look forward to watching some of the matches. It really does make a difference, and everybody's just pumping it at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning.
The mocker's going?
The mocker is always going, yes.
And these days, have you been able to? Oh, we all know that we woke up with our parents to watch it back in the old days. But these days, do you, kids involved? I know that you got a son and daughter that love for culture as well.
Yeah, all my kids play at a pretty high level here, and they all get up all the time to watch. It's a family affair at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
It doesn't matter whether it's Serie A or the national team.
No, it doesn't matter. We're always up.
You get to watch Australia at a normal hour, but not Italy. So.
Yeah.
And Carlo?
Yeah, it's they turn into sleepless nights, don't they? So you kind of have the idea of going to sleep, but you never really do.
Well, you've been getting up, and most of the time you get to see a win at least.
For the past few seasons, yeah. Last season aside, I mean, it was only 33 years, but yeah, it's been pleasant. Almost surreal, especially how the last couple of seasons have gone.
And Sam?
Yeah, look, been used to it now for a few decades of waking up at 4 o'clock for the 4:45 game. Luckily, the midnight games back when we were a little bit younger were more friendly. We were lucky that we used to watch it at my work, where Carlo used to work with us too, so that was good. It was a good atmosphere of the Serie A nights on a Sunday. We saw many. One night I remember was the famous Ronaldo Giuliano Juve Inter match, and the atmosphere was electric. But yeah, it's something we're used to, something we just deal with it now.
I should mention Sam's family, a rich sort of ancestry into coffee. Same with Carlo. You're in the same industry. Paul is a what we call you, a polyglot of a few different languages.
Possibly, yeah, just a secondary teacher.
Yeah, an Italian teacher from way back, and I've been there learning. Well, I wasn't too good back in Italian then, but we won't go into my high school history here. But these guys, we watched so many matches up at La Dolce Vita.
We sure
where
did.
Sam's family
sure did. Many great memories, especially of the 2006 World Cup,
2006
where
World Cup,
we had around 25,000 on the street. It was the street was closed, and it was. I was actually lucky enough to be at the game in Germany. But then when I saw the vision from Brisbane, I was like, I actually might have wished to have been in Brisbane watching it with the 25,000 because the atmosphere looked amazing and definitely memorable moments there, along with David and Franco from Arrivederci Pizza across the road.
Yeah.
It was simply unbelievable.
Yeah, we all remember those, especially.
And you were DJing it from
Italy.
memory.
I was DJing up on the tower there, maybe we'll edit in a photo of that at some point.
I think so.
It made the career. It was a couple of flares, a couple of bricks through the windows the next day from the anti-Italian fans.
I think so.
So look, a quick salute to the Aussie Calcio fans as well. Let's all grab something to drink here.
So.
A couple of us on the Peronis. There's a bit of Sampel there. So look, let's get into what is the state of Italian football. Now you've got the most knowledge out of all of us, Paul. So give us a quick. What can Italian football do to get back to where it was? You can grab the mic off me, actually. Yeah. Give us.
Having watched, my first game was at the San Siro in 1973, and I watched Milan Bologna. It was 3-1 to Milan, and from then the 70s were hard for Italian football, but they were still the top three easily. We all know about the magic 90s, the 80s, etc. We've, from my point of view, with the new owners that have come in, especially from the Americas, they see it as a business, first and foremost. Now, that's not to say that Berlusconi didn't see it as a business, but when push came to shove and a decision had to be made whether we're going to spend, for example, 70 million buying Shevchenko, the heart overran the head, really. And that's why Milan was so successful. There was no care given to how much debt we were going to be in this year, next year, or for 10 years. With new owners, it's a completely different beast, really. And even now, just this week, Milan can't buy anyone, for example, Leone, unless they sell Ciao.
Different rules these days.
Different rules, and
different
it's
mentality.
a completely different mentality, and even the San Siro now is like a baseball field rather than a crazy Italian football venue. There's no fear anymore, you know. Sammy
what do you
was
think about that, being a
there.
Milan fan?
Look, San Siro is, for me, it's a special place. The Scala del Calcio is. I was there 2 years ago for the semi-final of the Euro Derby to see both games, and I obviously brought them bad luck.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was tough. Still,
A couple of quick beltings.
Yeah, look, it was amazing to be there, experience it. When I left the stadium, the second leg, yes, I was extremely disappointed we weren't going to be playing, but the experience of it was amazing. Having said that, the stadium, yes, it needs work. We've been hearing about all these changes, and then with the local mayor Sala and so forth. I'm not even sure we're going to see any change while we're still here, knowing how Italian bureaucracy is.
Well, they've got before 2032, before the Euros have to. Well, I think we've got till next year to actually nominate 5 stadiums in Italy.
Yeah, and look, I went to Fiorentina, Livorno back in 2016, and that stadium was not impressive at all. It might have been in the 1990 World Cup, 35 years ago, but the investment on the stadiums is definitely one start they need to really look at. You've seen with Juventus what that does for them.
Udinese as well.
Udinese, yes.
Even Frosinone have a new stadium.
Frosinone. These stadiums, when they're full at the moment, yes, Genoa, watching Genoa at home is amazing, Sampdoria. But having said that, we need to move on and build new infrastructure for these teams.
And just pass to Carlo for a second, because Napoli, being a Napoli fan, first of all, the stadium there, it's iconic, but it needs some work. Secondly, what is your take on Italian football, given that you come from 2 Scudetti in a couple of, 3 years?
I agree. I agree with both the boys are saying, in terms of especially in how the clubs are run. And I think most Napoli fans would see what happens through buying and selling. I mean, even the saga that's going on now with Aussie and trying to bring in some other players. It's always about the dollar. I think Napoli's probably the only club in Italy at the moment that doesn't have debt. So speaking on not spending money, I think our
Different
president-
approach to culture, though. Atalanta, even Bologna, we're seeing now, they're following in Napoli's footsteps.
Yeah,
So
they are, but
they're trying to flip players at a profit, build up the equity in the club, and then move on.
100%, and that also comes from their youth. So they're producing a lot of good players, especially Atalanta, and what they're selling. I think they've just sold their striker now, or the rumours are saying that they're moving to Saudi Arabia. So the prospects are there for growth. But touching on the Maradona, I think they've tried to improve, but I think with the works with the local council and the president not wanting to spend money, I think all they've done recently is put some TV screens in and change the seats. So,
well, that's an improvement. We never saw that coming, to be honest. So,
I think it is iconic, and so is San Siro. I mean, I was there in 2007 and saw France and Italy post World Cup win, and that was pretty iconic. But yeah, I think youth is the answer, but I think the clubs need to start taking ownership of the stadiums.
Well, Parma could be a good example for youth because I think they fielded of the top the first 17 youngest 11s in Serie A. If we go through all the games, 380 games, 17 of them, the first 17 are Parma fielding the youngest 11 out there. The coach is now about 27, 29, Carlos Cuesta.
Yeah.
So now that approach is probably a little bit extreme. We're not used to it, especially at Milan. Camarda's just gone to Lecce. I'm not sure what you think of that, Paul, but was it worth trying to keep him in the mix to give him some minutes at a bigger club? He only got 200 minutes this season.
What they did to Camarda last year was a disgrace, because not only didn't he play for the Serie A side, he didn't even play for the the
third division team in Serie G. And that's because they didn't want him injured there.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. So at least he's going to be playing in Serie A. However, Lecce is not going to be a side that is going to be pushing forward and creating many goal chances. But then again, if they do create and the boy scores, then not only had Milan got a superstar, but Italy once again will have that number 9 that we are missing so badly.
And also, I think he's going to get better service with a Milan midfield rather than the likes of Remy Udin or whoever's going to be in the Lecce midfield.
But I also think getting kicked by most of the Serie A defences will be really good for the boy. Yeah. I think it'll really show him,
Well, I mean, Sam, your opinion on Camarda?
He should never have gone. He should have played more minutes last year. He showed he had no fear.
Especially given their finish in the table. The last few games, you think he would have got more as well.
It's the old thing with Italian football. That's frustrating for not just for Milan, for all the other teams. You've got a 15, 16-year-old boy showing a lot of promise, and then they sort of disappear into the wilderness. They've got to go make their bones in the second division, or they've got to go on loan to Belgium, to Holland. And then, like you see with I think it's Pafundi, they show a lot of promise when they're 18, 19, but it's so different from Spain. I mean, we don't have to bring up the names, but Yamal and Nico Williams and that's what annoys me with the Italian mentality of the coaches. They're good enough. Throw them in. They're never going to learn.
Yamal, is it an anomaly that he's the kind of guy that Barcelona will play regardless of his age? Or
he's a freak.
He's a freak, but what about Camarda in that circumstance? Both 16, 17 years old.
I watched Camarda in his press conference with Lecce. This is a kid that's just put on 5 to 10 kilos in muscle.
He needed that.
He looks a man now. He looked a kid, didn't he?
So fitting in the salami?
And a bit of prosciutto, I think. But the boy now looks like a man, and Sammy could have been right. Maybe we should have kept him. And
it was like that when we also with Colombo, we let him go. There's been
look at Inter with the Esposito brothers.
The Esposito brothers.
Pio's back
and I hope I never wish Inter any luck ever. Zero luck. But when it comes to an Italian striker, young, promising, I want them at the top clubs. I don't want to see Keane leave to go overseas again. All these other Esposito brothers, they should be playing in the top clubs in Italy, and if they're 17 and good enough, get them in there.
It's a new mentality though, because to get a 17-year-old at a big club like a Juve, Inter, or Milan, for example, even Napoli and Roma these days, they're not gonna give them starts. No. Now, did they do this in the old days? I mean, Carlo with Ambrosino, for example, he's owned by Napoli. They send him out on loan a lot. He's been here, there, and everywhere. There's a couple of others from Napoli that have been out and they're proving themselves. And then maybe they're staying with Serie B clubs or lower, like, for example, Gaetano. Cremonese, breakout season. They brought him back. He won a Scudetto there, but barely played.
Great player. Great player. And he showed that when he went to Cagliari. So it was unfortunate, but I think that's the mentality, it's the win now. And a lot of young players, I mean, they do buy them, but then they just send them out to Bari. I think we signed someone this morning or yesterday that's straight out to Bari, which is obviously the sister club. Yeah. But the youth needs to come through more, and that's been the problem. I mean, look at Germany, for example, as well. It's just a football factory of talent, and we just don't have the courage.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you a question. We were talking last week about what not only Italian football needs to do, but maybe Australian football as well, because I think Australia had their boom with the Socceroos making the World Cup. They made 3 or 4, but the A-League hasn't really taken off to the levels that many predicted it would. Where is the passion now, considering that when we grew up, of course, Australia's a sports-mad country. Cricket, basketball, Aussie rules, rugby league, rugby union, everything's here. And soccer was always seen as an afterthought, especially even us going to school. You know, you'd win a game 15-0, no one cared. We only cared about the rugby teams. How are we going to establish another generation of youth? Is it the case where the young kids are still playing soccer as their first sport? I remember that was the case here in Australia.
Okay, I like this topic.
And then Italy as well.
No, I like this topic because...
Touchy.
I love it because I don't think people just realise what Australia has done over the last 6 campaigns. They've done something that I'll put my hand on this one. I can't see Italy going to Saudi Arabia in 38-degree heat and competing. I can't see it.
We've got the conditions to train for that in Australia, though.
But most of our boys are in Europe.
True, that's true.
Right? We've got a setup in this country that, if they get it right, will be out of this world. It's the most played sport in the country. The most played.
Still is, okay.
Still is. Has been for... I'm 63.
40 years, you reckon?
40, 50 years, probably. The 6 World Cups in a row is amazing. Especially the first one after the 70
through South America. Oh, that one.
No, the very first one in '74, where we were panel beaters and cooks and playing against, the best of the best when they did make it. The 2006 one was amazing.
In the 80s, there was the 80s. The first one.
The 80s were a bit. The cycle hadn't sort of taken off yet with the young players that were going to make their name in the 2000s. But seriously, the game is huge.
Yeah,
the game is huge, and it only needs a huge input of money, which I don't know why they don't do it, to align themselves with the Man City, with the Liverpool, and the money.
Is Melbourne aligned with Man City these days?
Melbourne City is.
Same.
Melbourne City is.
And so we need in Australia more clubs to be aligned.
Yes.
Because we see that happening with Italian clubs now. Palermo with City.
Yeah, exactly. And just one more thing on the crowds and everything. A decision was made about 10 years ago to bring in certain clubs for certain demographics, and they got it completely wrong. And that's taken the game back 10 years.
Yes.
There are a number of clubs in Australia at the moment who outperform, not in the A-League or in the National Premier Leagues, that outperform the A-League clubs. Yeah. Bringing those 2 or 3 clubs into the A-League, it will just expand exponentially.
Okay. And Carlo, you were telling me about a plan that you thought grassroots football here, does it need to be taken back to the streets?
I think the opportunities need to be for everyone. And I think that some of the local clubs, not all of them, I think it's more about getting the numbers up. And I see little signs of sort of overcoaching in a sense to try and create that generation. Okay. So I think kids generate a love for the game. That's what makes them want to play. It needs
to be fun as well.
It needs to be fun. And I think they get to a certain age, obviously, where you need to take it more seriously and you need to refine your skills. But I think the opportunity needs to be for everyone. And like you said, it's the most played sport in Australia.
So they need to take it to another level at least at street level, where we have a lot of indoor soccer here in Australia, but what is the situation with being able to turn up? I know that we've got a lot of 11-a-side fields out in the open, and that's great in Australia. There's a lot of greenery, but in terms of like turning up with a few mates, what can people do, like a 5-a-side situation, anything?
I thought a great idea would be to use some of the land that we've got. Lots of parks in Australia, and I understand land is at a prime in Australia, but putting out some cage football like they do in Europe, creating the environment, getting everyone involved, getting kids involved from schools, setting up programs with schools, and that's how you develop the love. And there are some kids out there that can't play for a club. They just can't afford it. Sometimes the fees are $700-800.
It's not like it once was, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's at cricket levels where you have to.
Yeah.
It used to cost $1,000 to get your son to play cricket. Now it's that for soccer here. Yeah.
And so unfortunately, some people can't afford it, or whether their priorities lie somewhere else. But it's not the kid's fault, and that kid could be a generational talent, because I've always said some of the best players come from the most unfortunate circumstances.
It's true, and it's the same case in Italy. Sam, take the mic. I've got the same question for you, but from an Italian perspective. We've heard Cassano and Del Piero saying back when they grew up, they used to play 4-on-3. They were able to curate their skills, be able to take on 2 or 3 players, go for outrageous goals. They had more flair. We're not seeing that today. It's very mechanical. Is there a street soccer situation that needs to evolve again in Italy?
In Italy?
Also here, but of course.
Yeah, in Italy, definitely.
Italy, we don't have a playmaker.
But I think
anymore.
in world football, full stop, we don't see. The last one has been Cassano. Love him or hate him. On his day, he made the difference. He was the last number 10. The best one in history is Roberto Baggio. But these Totti, Del Piero, no disrespect, they're all fantastic in their own right. The players just aren't being. I don't know the training, but it's all very now. I blame Pep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I blame Pep. But I don't blame Pep. I blame the coaches trying to act like Pep.
Yeah.
Pep is brilliant, like him or not. People say it's all like a chess game. But it's the people who are trying to coach a Division 2 club and trying to play like Pep. Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Trying to play out from the back.
With
defenders that don't know how to pass.
And that is what is sort of turning a few people off the game, I believe. We're missing those raw talents. People say Grealish at Aston Villa was amazing. He goes to Man City, he doesn't even take on a player anymore. But what they could do, look, less kids are playing on the street. Italy, Australia, they're being put into a system. There's a lot of these football academies. There's a lot of these expensive routes to go overseas. If you're in Australia, the dream, follow your dream. But the raw talents, the number 10s or wingers, they seem to be now more so than ever, because number 10s could be, sort of the troublemaker in the team. They're really being outcast now. And they're like, no, you don't fit our system.
If you actually show too much creative license, you'll get benched.
Well, that's exactly right. So where it's becoming very, for me, it's all becoming too much of the same. I'm very against the 4-3-3 formation. I can't stand it. We don't have fantastic strikers anymore. We do not have creative players anymore.
They're not
like
getting
we
the
used
service.
to.
The strikers
They're
aren't
not getting the
service.
service. Leao is one of those. Is he a striker? Is he a midfielder? He's always going to just score you those 10 goals a season, 11 goals a season. That's great. But we want to see goals, we want to see creativity, we want to see trickery, we want to see the free kicks. So where do we go? I really, it's a big question.
Well, you've heard it here on the other side of the world, the other side of the universe. Everyone loves a playmaker, not just in Italy, not just in Europe. Let's switch it up. I want to know what it's like, and we'll start with you, Paul, again. What is your perfect season like from a Milan perspective? Who do you love to see lose? Would you prefer who to beat? Just give us an insight into that.
Well, top 3?
Yeah.
All right. Inter
and Inter.
To
win or to lose?
No, I hope they lose every game, and just watching them lose 5 trophies this year was almost as good as Milan winning the Champions League. It was that good.
I nearly put on my Carlton shirt today because I'm back in Oz. but
They're not
but
good.
I prefer. It's got to the point now where I prefer to see Collingwood lose than I do to see Carlton win. Is this how it is at the moment?
At the moment, I like most of the other sides. I like Napoli. I like Roma especially. I obviously like Padova because that's near with my dad, and obviously Catania.
Back in Serie B, Padova this season.
Back
Just
in
signed
Serie
Papu
B.
Gomez.
Last game, yeah, tremendous. But I hate Inter.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. I'm sorry, but
That's a
but-
statement. That's a tattoo. Ready?
Well, I've got my tattoo, which I'll show you later. But especially after their carry on in the semi final when they beat us, they'd won the Champions League in the semi final, but they forgot to play Man City the next week. And what's his name, left fullback, DiMarco, for his singing expertise, sort of hasn't set the world on fire since that semi final. So yep.
Is this similar for Sam, being a Milanista?
Look,
Where's Juventus in this mix?
look, my father's a Juventino. A lot of people ask me why I'm a Milanista. It was because obviously I was at a young age. Milan, I was watching them and they were winning everything in the three Dutch player era. Being a 6-7-year-old, I was like, I like this team. They seem to win all the time. I'm going to start supporting them. But for me, Juventus is sort of like Ferrari for the Formula One. You need to have a strong Juventus.
What about a strong Inter?
A strong Inter. No, look, if Inter was to go into Eccellenza, that would even still be too good for them. They should even be put into the regionali things.
So you prefer them to be where Brescia is right now, bankrupt?
Oh, actually,
Oh,
that would be
100%.
fantastic for me. So seeing Inter
100%.
lose,
Yeah. And go bankrupt.
They seem to be adding all that debt on every year.
Yeah.
They're up to 900 million now.
900
Are you
million.
saying they're the Man City of Serie A? Is this what you're saying?
100%.
Okay.
But seeing them
I'm
lose,
putting words in your mouth.
No,
Paul.
no.
seeing Atalanta lose, I can't stand Atalanta, and especially Gasperini.
Is that because they're blue and black?
Yes.
They're blue. Well, that's true.
And
Just
they're
I like Atalanta, to be honest.
And
I
they're
like an
also
underdog.
Gemellaggio, yes.
with Inter. So.
But Gasperini is just antipatico. I can't stand
Are you going to
him.
hate Pisa this year in Serie A?
No, so it's pretty much Inter and Atalanta seeing them lose. The rest, look, it doesn't really bother me. It's mainly Inter.
What happens if, just a quick answer, what happens if Napoli plays Juventus? Who are you supporting in that game?
Napoli.
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 Okay, well, at least we know where
the
Juventus are
Southerners.
on the ladder
Look,
here.
we are Sicilian, and you've got my favourite hometown jersey on. So first and foremost, I would always support Napoli.
Okay, and Carlo, a perfect season for you. I'm not sure you really have to explain it. I think you just had it.
It was close.
Because,
It was close.
Because Inter and Juventus won nothing.
I think it would have been more poetic if we had won on the Sunday, kick off at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's my perfect season.
I'm not going to complain. I was there on the Friday and I was quite satisfied.
I mean, it was special. It was special, but
Your last one was in Udine when you
was
won.
in Udine.
Yeah.
So I think we actually had a chance to seal it against some local low-level team. I can't remember who it was. And we
Are you talking this season?
no, that was 2 years
Salernitana.
ago.
Well, they're in Serie C now, so that's your perfect season. That's how they got relegated.
They got relegated. Yeah. But yeah, it was close. But it is. It's still pretty surreal. I think it's hard to fathom after so many years of trying that they've been so successful so consistently.
Okay, so with the way I see it is this season, obviously Milan won a Mickey Mouse tournament. Fair enough. We're going to call it that. Just like everyone thinks that the FIFA World Club Cup is similar thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what has more weight, the Italian Super Cup or that. Maybe the
think the
Super Cup
Super
does.
I think the Super Cup
Yeah.
has just.
Yeah, especially the way that Milan won it. They beat Inter in the final comeback win.
That was.
How did that guy make you feel? I mean, did you think there were big things coming after that, or
No.
no?
No, because the season was determined by the initial signing of the initial coach.
Okay,
It was low cost. So I
So
don't
we got
know.
low cost results.
We went low cost results, went low cost again with Conceição. The same issues were there.
Look,
So-
if we could have played Inter every weekend this year, we would have won the Scudetto in March
Champions.
and the Champions League.
Yeah.
This year, we just seem to have it over them. Psychologically, I mean, they had it great over us for 6-7 games straight. I believe they beat us, but the Super Cup victory was amazing, was beautiful. 93rd minute.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Napoli here, Serie A title winners on the last day. It was very different to the way that they won it a couple of years ago. And the way that they won it with 5 weeks to spare last time. This time was on the last day. It was like being at a final, everything on the line.
Yeah, it was
the
a final.
stadium was like, fair enough, they were cheering, celebrating before the match because they know that they just needed to win. But still, there was apprehension there.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very different atmosphere to 2 years ago. So Bologna winning the Coppa Italia, that's a similar to a Napoli story. I think Bologna's about 8 to 10 years behind Napoli here with the way that they're flipping players, building.
Yeah.
Sartori's
I think
there.
maybe closer.
They could be closer, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they won their first Coppa Italia, we're going to call it major Italian silverware, at least, an Italian cup. They won it 11 years after Joey Saputo took over. Now, Napoli got theirs 8 years after De Laurentiis came in. So there's not too far on the timeline there,
Yeah.
3 years difference. And now we're going to see Bologna, for the second year in a row, sell 2 players for a big profit, even more profit than what they did with Calafiori. And they sell last year, the Zigzag. And so, because they only made about 15, 20 million on those sales. So, because they sold them for 45, but they owed 25 on those.
Okay.
So this time they bought them for 8, and now they're going to sell them for 30, 35. So there's big money to be made. They're building something. And it feels like, to me, Napoli win the Serie A, underdog. No one expected that. No one expected Bologna to win Coppa Italia, and they did it against your mob again. Do you think that the coach would have stayed there, Sergio Conceição, if they did win it?
Oh yeah, Conceição is definitely going to be there.
He's going to be there if they won that.
Oh yeah.
So you can thank
100%.
Bologna that Allegri's there?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, we thank the Rosso Blu for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vincenzo Italiano.
Yeah, champion.
And
Bravo.
then you've got Juventus winning nothing, because I feel like Napoli's biggest rival is Juventus historically, especially
I
given
think
the Maradona years.
there's always been that sentiment there, hasn't there?
The Higuain sale, all
Yeah,
these
but I
things
think
exacerbated
prior
the
to
problem.
that as well, and I think we both were in the second division together.
Both promoted at the same time in
Both
2007.
promoted at the same time. So I think there's always been that rivalry going back to the Maradona days, and
A symbiosis there, a very different ends of the spectrum, because Napoli had that massive decline, bankruptcy.
poorly run.
Yeah, poorly run, and we've seen it come back with De Laurentiis. And what are your thoughts on ADL? As a president, a lot of people seem to think that he's bad for the game, but to me, he's an example to be followed in terms of at least how to run a club financially.
Yeah, I think he's done amazing things. I think that Napoli struggles sometimes to get the right players for the right price, but a lot of people put the blame solely on him. But I think it's also the deals that he's trying to do. But for football in general, I think if you look at, since he's come in, he's set that standard of not going into debt, of staying plus, being in the positive, in operating the club. I think there's always been that issue with a stadium. And I think the fans, there's so much sentiment there, they don't want to move. But at the same time, a new stadium, like the boys have been saying, the Euro's coming up. It is dated, but you can't really fault him from a fan's perspective. I think
it seems to have learned since the Spalletti sort of situation where he left. Napoli finished 10th. And I think he learned, he became a little bit more humble, it looks like. He's willing to listen to other people more than his own sort of,
ego,
intuition as well.
His ego.
He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's there.
It's kind of like what Silvio did at Milan.
100%. We have a president at the moment that decides to turn up once every blue moon. I mean, seriously.
Well, who's the man to answer that at Milan? Is it bringing back Paolo Maldini? What happens here?
I think that could be
we all love
in the pipeline.
Yeah, we all love
Hopefully.
Paolo.
They need a spiritual leader there, surely.
Absolutely.
They need a spiritual leader. Ibrahimovic, we all know. Whatever he's doing.
Great player,
Great
not
player.
necessarily should be backroom staff.
Well, that's right. Well, Maldini, before taking the TD role, he studied that role. He's actually studied a few years. He didn't retire and then next week put on a jacket and off he's going. You need those roles. You need to know what you're doing. As simple as that.
Who better for Milan?
Maldini made some terrible signings, but he's Milan.
They did get a Scudetto recently, 4 years ago.
Well, he won a Scudetto
won
a Scudetto with literally, I think it was 102 million that he spent on Tomori, Kalulu, Tonali, things like that. But look, De Ketelaere was always one that was controversial. They let him go. I believe he should have been allowed another season, because then he did really sort of show.
What about Daniel Maldini?
Daniel should have stayed. If they're young and they need he needed time. He needed time, because then he comes back and loves scoring against Milan.
So do you think they're too reactive? Because
believe
we've seen
so.
3 coaches now in 12 months.
I believe so. But Milan's a club that needs a top coach. Fonseca, Conceição, they're not top coaches.
Allegri's back, and so he won it with Ibrahimovic as a player. Any chance that he can do it with Ibrahimovic sort of flanking him now off the field?
Ibra will be in the back room somewhere. He won't be up front anymore.
Okay.
He's already, even since the Allegri signing, where's Ibra been?
Consulting?
On holidays. And that's on holidays, meaning they've told him,
Opening another paddle centre.
You stay away, we'll take care of this. Now we've got Tade, we've got Allegri, we don't need you.
Time will tell, if you ask me.
Are you happy with Tade?
Yes.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah. Again, time will tell. When Maldini was kicked out, I said to one of my Milan group chats, give these guys some time to prove themselves. And they didn't. We had a terrible season. But now, fresh start, new coach, new TD. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, let's go to Carlo for a second. I mean, you're a lifelong Napoli fan, and you have Napoli in the bloodline, not just like casual Napoli fans that are from another part of Italy. You actually have relatives there. You go back to Naples, and you're lifelong. You saw, maybe you're a bit too young for Maradona lifting the cup, but still, you lived through the painful years. You were there in Serie A. We used to watch the games together, thinking of Amodio and the likes of Mamma Britos back in Serie A when they finally got there. Montervino, big El Pampa. We could go on for ages. Actually, we've got a good Napoli museum video coming your way. We were there last year, so we're going to put that up. All the shirts there.
My favourite was
Bogliacino there. Then it went into Walter Gargano and the slow ascent. Schwab. Yes, that's Serie B 2001. But you've got it in your blood. And what's it like? How proud are you to see this kind of club come back, the phoenix rising from the ashes?
Yeah, I still think it's still really surreal for me because of how it was done. So they've built the club up for long-term success, and keeping a coach like Conte is always really difficult. He's so demanding. He always wants everything from a club to try and succeed. But yeah, it's just, I think part of me says they should be trying to do more because of the success that they've had. But at the same time, you've got to appreciate where they've come from and look at what they've achieved. And I think they have changed the game. And all the young fans are very fortunate that they've seen them, win 2 in 3 years, which is very, very hard to do, let alone for a club like ours.
It's very difficult, exactly. Especially ADL won the Scudetto after 18 years of being in charge. And it was that slow rise, bringing players in, narrowly missing out. 2018, we all know what happened when Juventus won. But, finally, they've won 2 that no one really expected them to win. And do you think that was the key to sort of, it was not a punch from behind, but no one saw them coming. So it was just like, bang, they were there. No one really knew that they were going to do it. Spalletti did it, now Conte. Yeah. And, I mean, can they build for the champions? Can they retain the title?
It's hard to know. I guess it depends on the personnel they bring in, but I think Conte is the best person for that, if that's their target.
Well, we know that Milan would have loved to have Conte. Everyone thought that he was going to go there or back to Juventus. So from a Milan perspective, looking at Napoli now, their success, I mean, is there something that Milan could have done in the meantime? How do you view Napoli?
Napoli is a success story. It's given that they didn't have any European ventures last year, they could solely concentrate on the league, which is what Milan are going to do this year. So there should be zero excuses for Milan.
And the clear
maybe not to win it, but they must be top 2.
There's an overhaul because they've already sold Theo Hernandez. We see a couple of young kids leaving. They sold Tijani Reinders. So Salamakers is back. Are you happy with Salamakers?
Yeah, I think so. He had a great
squad
season.
Player.
Yeah, great season.
Very different to how he was 2-3 years ago at Milan.
Yeah, much better player.
Definitely.
We're still hunting for the Vlahovic type player. We still need. I can't believe we haven't got Yashada yet from Brugge. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Is that another Decathlon situation though?
No, this boy can play.
He can.
Okay.
This boy can play. He can really play. And but it's apparently, Sammy, it's for 300,000 or 400,000 euros. It's a game of one-upmanship at the
The
moment.
difference in getting the deal done. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
We're
have
talking 30 million euros, surely,
Be-
up there. Around that.
Berlusconi would have paid it out of his own pocket
Yeah.
to get this boy. That's how good he is. So it's
And Sam?
ridiculous.
I believe there are talks we are going to be getting Vlahovic. Those are just talks. Who knows with the relationship with Allegri, that could be positive if he came along. I would love to see Chiesa back in Serie A, because with us, not with Napoli. Napoli already got De Bruyne already signing too many good players. But the good players, I believe, you've got Conte as coach. So to get De Bruyne, it's not that hard. They want to play for someone like him. But for the national team, Chiesa needs to have a massive 12 months.
Do you think Chiesa would go and play under Allegri again after what happened? I don't know. I don't think they fell out, but I think people were
I just
complaining
don't know
about
what
it.
happened behind closed doors,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, we really don't know. We know with the Bonucci story, obviously, but with Chiesa, I don't know. And I think Milan need a player like him on his day.
Milan are going to spend any more than $4 million on a striker. 4 million wages. That's it. Forget about it.
Well, the luckiest has been Origi, because he's been
Holidaying on the Bahamas,
on Lake
yeah.
Como getting the 4 million
Yeah.
a season and
Unbelievable.
hasn't played. He played a little bit with the Milan
Hey, look,
Futuro
just
team.
to clarify here, Lake Como's a great place, by
Oh,
the way.
it is.
The Como Cup's coming up.
I fished in Lake Como.
Yeah,
with
and
my
they could be
Zio,
coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? All right.
Yeah, I have fished there. Yeah.
Which part of it? Was it down near the city? Or?
Where the fish are.
Further
where
up.
the fish are.
It's a long lake, I can tell you now. 2 hours to get from one side to the
I
other.
can't remember. All I can remember was my Zio, the comunista, blaspheming every time he dropped a fish. So
Ciao bella, ciao.
Ciao bella. But Milan are in a world of hurt.
Okay, what if they
Because
come
they
to
won't
Perth?
spend-
Are you going to go?
For a Serie A game, yes.
For a Serie A game, 100%.
Yeah, not for the friendlies. For
No.
summer friendlies, I think that's.
I went to
off
the friendly
table.
last year.
Yeah.
It was a good experience
Yeah, it was
to
a good game,
to
actually.
see they put on a
Yeah.
fantastic good friend of mine, Lou. His company brought the two teams out, and Perth, the state government, everyone involved put on an amazing show. Incredible.
What about, now this is controversial, this topic, because Serie A leaving Italy, not just for a friendly we're talking about here, or going to Saudi for a cup. We're talking the very first, it's a historical moment, not just for Serie A, but for club football in general. Should they come to anywhere else, it's going to come to Australia. Fair enough, I'm going to get your perspective on being Australian and watching them here, which is great for you guys. You don't have to travel all the way to the San Siro, but still a 6-hour flight.
6
from
hour
here.
flight.
6 hours.
But should they leave? Because the Italians in Italy, they've got a different perspective on this, different mentality, and they don't really believe it should be done. Should they come to Australia? Paolo?
Let's start why they're leaving. It's because San Siro's
Okay, yeah.
inoperable for that period of
The
time.
context is Winter
That's
Olympics.
context.
They need San Siro as an opening ceremony venue. Yes.
But because Milan, once again, are a reactive club at the moment, they can see X number of euros missing from that initial fixture. Where can we go to make the most money? That's all it is.
Do you think the clubs will be making the money out of it? I feel like it's a Serie A venture more than it is, or perhaps it's the same kind of group that you were talking about before, an investment group here, sports, trying to promote sports, and to me, it feels like they've gone and pitched this to Serie A and to the clubs.
Would then bring Milan v Inter.
Well, I don't think the Milan derby. I think Milan derby's too precious.
Yeah.
That's blasphemy in terms of Serie A.
Yeah.
But for Milan Como, there's still a rivalry there.
It's not like Broncos Penrith in Las Vegas. This is
I don't want to see it.
I think it's too.
I'd love to see it. I'm going to go. But
it would feel awkward. It would feel weird. But Milan Como would probably to ease into it.
Yeah.
Look, let's hope there's something in it for everyone, especially those who make
And it's
the trip
also
there.
the players love coming to Australia. From what I heard, the Milan and Roma players last year, fair enough they were only here for 3-4 days, but they loved every minute of it.
Okay.
So that's another good thing. You already got the players wanting to go to this country.
Of course, it's like a destination wedding, destination Serie A match. Everyone's sort of got to travel to get there, apart from the people that live in Perth, which we all know.
But then, the question then is, this is the first. It won't remain as the only one. Here we go.
It will open the
It
floodgates.
will
do you
open
think?
the floodgates. yes.
I think it will. I think it definitely will. And the more the better. The more the better. The more
Okay.
the better. One look, I'm not saying I want a full round here or anything like that. I don't want to see Inter come to Australia. I don't want countries clean. We don't want any.
100%.
We don't want any one of that stuff coming in.
You've got a different immigration policy when it comes
Yeah,
to black
true.
and blue.
Look,
All
I
right.
do get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
And that ridiculous jersey of theirs for the World Club Cup.
Yeah,
Perfect match.
but I think
Perfect.
having the Italian champions
Napoli.
would have been great. Having Napoli
Yes.
here, because Napoli is also because of the success of the football club. That city is a tourist hotspot.
Yeah.
It's probably, I don't know if it's right or not, but it's probably number one. The amount of friends of mine who don't live in Naples, they go to Napoli now for a weekend.
They do. Well, I've met so many people there.
You
I've
probably
done
see that.
7 Napoli games last season, where I've actually gone to the games. 3 were in Naples, and every time I went, it was like this: sardines, Spacca Napoli buzzing, the airport buzzing, the cabs. They can't believe it's like they've won the lotto. The cabbies there, and the illegal cabbies pretending to be cabbies. There's a travel tip there, by the way.
They're going to be legit.
Yeah, if they're ushering you over to their car at the Naples airport, a couple of tequila.
Boys, just check your pockets after.
You may not end up in
pockets
Toledo.
either.
This whole Australia thing, but it's all about the demise of the Serie A, isn't it? Really, and
So you
trying to
think
put
they're
it-
weaker? And this
Serie
is
A.
why they need to do this?
Oh, 100%. Serie A in Australia in the 90s, when we had you remember,
Different
the
world.
10 o'clock.
They were the only
SBS
league,
show-
really.
It was the only league.
World soccer was always someone like Zola Del Piero with a techno song at the end, the best goals.
And it was World Soccer followed by an A-League, National League
That's
game.
right,
So
yeah.
everything ran, it was perfect.
Excuse the traffic, by the way. That's
It's Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's lost its mantle. The Premier. But saying that again, if you go to the shops and you see what kids are wearing, they're not wearing Broncos jerseys. They're not wearing Collingwood jerseys or Lions jersey. They're wearing football jerseys.
Yep.
Whether it's Madrid, Milan, Liverpool, Napoli, so many.
Yeah.
That's all you see in this country.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea. But there's a but. There's a but.
so. I guess there's a positive and negative to
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
situation. Carlo, how would you feel about Napoli coming here?
I'm on the fence.
For a
but,
premiership game, yeah.
as obviously pre-season, all for it. For an actual fixture, I don't know. I'm just a bit more of a traditionalist, and I think that I even don't agree with them going to Saudi to do that,
To do the
cup.
Super Cup?
But that's just me. I mean, I think it should stay. And like I even said before, the Friday night kickoffs, and I know the scheduling needs to work and the TV rights, but I
I don't mind the Friday night kickoffs for Serie B, Serie C.
Yeah,
because
I agree with
It gives
that.
those leagues
Serie
a leg
B
up.
is great. It gives them more exposure.
Official
And-
broadcaster, by the way, not in Australia, but many other countries.
And the second division, arguably, sometimes is better to watch.
Yeah.
So the talent, obviously, that comes through, and all the clubs loan all their players to the second division clubs.
Well, I guess that's the beauty of Serie B. It's always been like that, though. You
It
always
has.
see, even Serie C, they get a few of these younger kids. Would have been nice to see Camarda maybe go to Serie B last season if they weren't going to play him. We've got Pio Esposito, what happened there at Spezia, phenomenal. Now, now Inter's got him back, so I can see him being put into that squad. But let's not talk Inter because I know it's a sore point here.
Can we just talk NFL for a minute?
NFL, all right.
Because the NFL is coming to
Let's go.
Australia.
Yeah.
You see?
Is it?
And they're in
they-
England as well.
Yeah, Melbourne. They've been to England. They're coming to Melbourne.
Full round, right? Like a fixture, I think.
Yeah, the NFL. I can't remember which teams are coming to Melbourne, but they will sell out, and we've got to compete along those lines. The Serie A, the Premier League doesn't need to. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It
It
is what
it's
it
in cruise
is.
control. Yeah.
It's
It really
absolutely.
is. Although, mind you, I hate to say it, but it's not a great league.
I agree.
I think
It's
it's
not
got
a
its high
great
points and
league.
low points. I think
Yeah.
the hype is there, and that's what sells
It's
it.
the spectacular, but it's not a great league.
No,
It's not a great
the way
league.
the media present
It's
the highlights
it's a
packages,
perfect
it's
marketing.
Well, like you said, in the 90s and noughties,
The Serie A of 80s and
the Premier League
90s
took over. It's a marketing
leaves
machine.
this
Yes.
Premier League.
They've got the money. They can pay for the Rangers of the world.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Italy has to be very strategic with what they do with players coming out of the Premier League, because we all know they control the mercato, the summer transfer market. Everyone waits to see even what Bournemouth is doing before
Yes.
Milan makes
Yes.
a player.
Uh,
Who isn't? From Bournemouth to Real Madrid, Juventus couldn't hang on to him. Roma didn't take up the option.
Poison,
Now
yeah.
look at him.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing Champions League with Real Madrid. Los Blancos.
De Kuyper, who went to Brentford instead of Milan.
And that's what they're choosing.
Because a left back in one of those clubs makes 6-7 million a year,
Yes.
and in Milan they're going to make 2.5.
Yes.
So of course they're going to go. Of course they're going to go to
Yeah.
England. Of course they're going to go to England. But it was back in the 80s and 90s. Everyone wanted to come to Serie A, and now it's the other way around.
But
It's just the way it is.
I feel
and
like
the Italians
the fumes are there still for a lot of players, especially your McTominays and that look at a club like Napoli and they see the prestige of what happened in the past and they want to go there. So still Serie A has that up their sleeve, and they're getting
100%.
Ibra wanted to come back to Milan. I mean, we can see why. Players want to play for Milan or one of the big three. Or Napoli or
No
Roma.
disrespect, Man United, one of the greatest clubs in the world. But McTominay, even if he won 5 Premier Leagues with Man United, he would have never, ever, ever experienced passion
What he did.
No.
and what he did
Exactly.
in like he has in Italy. The players in Italy that come from the Premier League are just like, what is this?
It's there with like your Boca Juniors, River Plate to the.
Let's not even
Well,
go
what
there.
about Sammy, the procession when Milan won the Scudetto? How many days did it go for?
Exactly.
basically?
Exactly.
Days.
It's no disrespect to the English clubs.
No,
it's just
no.
their culture.
Yep.
Their supporters are a certain way. It's great, but you can't compare. You can't compare it. I'm
English
biased.
football culture is great in its own way, and so is
100%.
Italian, yeah.
100%.
And same with Germany, like they've
Yes.
got their thing.
The Bundesliga is great. I love watching the Bundesliga, actually. La Liga, they're all great. They're all great. And Serie A has a long way back to getting the marketing rights of the whole package of it to come back to the glory days.
I think what will help is actually Italy making a World Cup.
Don't ask for too much.
It's just
What are the chances with Rino Gattuso? I see it as the only play they could have made, because with Spalletti, I like spaghetti as well. Spalletti.
We'll be having some afterwards.
Yeah, I can smell it brewing from downstairs. But Spalletti is a great coach for developing players, but you need them week in, week out. With the national team, you get them for 3 days, 6 days, 9 days, a month if you're lucky at a tournament. By then, the way that they played, people were over it. Now Rino Gattuso for me is the only play, because they're underdogs now. Italy's underdogs. They need an underdog that's faced all the best players, Zidane's, those kinds, and they need someone inspirational. They do.
He'll definitely instill that into the team. There's no doubt. We all know what Gattuso's like.
No doubt.
Technically, tactically, probably not the best coach. He has coached
Where are the
Milan.
tactics here? They all play club. They all know what
They
they're
all
doing.
play club. Yeah, look, with Milan though, when he finished 5th, he was then let go. I actually really wanted him to stay for another season because I believed he was building something there at the club. It didn't work out, and after he left Milan that year, he
Went to Napoli. What did you think of
was
him
it directly
there?
Napoli?
Went to Napoli. What
yeah.
did you think of that, Carlo?
As a motivator, yeah, great. I think he got the best out of the players that he had. It was just unfortunate.
It was a little unlucky there, to be honest. And he came in
Yeah, he
after
was.
Ancelotti,
He was, and I think they started so poorly. But that was such a roller coaster for them that
and
season.
he got 6th or 7th.
He just missed out on
something
Champions
like
League.
that, yeah.
So he didn't do too poorly. So it's just unfortunate. That's
And
the
now he's
nature.
won some silverware with a Croatian club. We're talking Hajduk Split. It's nothing to sneeze at. It's So he's been there and he's done it. He's done Serie B as well. To me, he's a motivational speaker. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't take prisoners. You buy into his philosophy, or that's it. It's similar to a Conte. Obviously, Conte's a better coach, more experienced. He's won lots of trophies. But again, even Conte couldn't get the best out of the 2016 side.
correct.
So
He was very unlucky, but what he did with that team, he did miracles. I mean, they
Zaza.
pretty much Zaza and Giaccherini and Pele. But look, they if they got past Germany in that quarterfinal on penalty kicks, you don't know. I mean, but that's the difference between Conte and Gattuso. I think we'll see what happens. Gattuso hasn't got the players on disposal. Maybe they're from that. It's only 10 years ago, but he's got his work cut out.
So you'll take getting to the Mondiale, but even if Italy lose every game, as long as they get there, would you take that at this point? It's a step forward,
It's a
Carlo.
step forward.
Okay. And who is the difference maker that he's going to bring in? Does he have to wait for Scamacca to come back? Is he going to count on Keane, Retegui? Who?
And you just summarised Italy's problems in a nutshell.
Yeah.
If they're our best strikers, we have enormous issues, and we do. We do.
There's a big generational gap with the
Huge
talent.
generational
Massive generational gap. Massive generation. And I'm worried too even about our defenders now. We've got good defenders.
But there's 3 or 4, but as soon as 1 or 2's out.
Yeah, you know, Bastoni plays obviously for the wrong club, but he is a great defender. Buongiorno, Salvini. We've got, but they're very injury prone too. Very injury prone too.
And the bloke in goals who will not name. Right?
We will not name the bloke in goal. Donnarumma.
He's world class.
I should have brought my two. I've got two Donnarumas from that PSG game actually, but he up front is a big issue.
Big issue.
Big issue.
Well, where's the high point? Let's finish this on a high point. Is the midfield the high point?
I believe so. I mean, Tonali, another player who goes from playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world to Newcastle. Newcastle. I'm
Money
sorry.
talks. Money
It's
talks.
50, 60 million.
And beside Barella,
His poor girlfriend wife
Verratti?
is eating, I don't know, the bangers mash. but she could be eating, and you know. But anyway, Tonali is a brilliant player. He's fundamental to the squad. The other midfields that we've got there are
You want Chiesa back.
Chiesa back, exactly. Insigne might be wanting to coming back to Italy to get back into the team, but I wouldn't let him back in. Balotelli, I think it's finally finished for him. Any
He'll
hope?
be here, Newcastle. He signed for Newcastle. Newcastle Jets, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, there was
when I
talk
see
of
that
that, but I don't think he is. But
Okay.
some of those fringe players that hoping to get a call up, they should just close the door on them. But the midfield is the high point.
Gattuso will pick players like himself.
Okay.
He'll find the Gattuso in the players, right?
Okay, yeah.
Even the talented, the technical ones. He'll want those with a little bit of grunt, a little bit of ones that will kick other people if they need to.
playing under
you
his
know?
hero.
Yeah, exactly. So I look forward to seeing the Norway game at home.
Okay.
Because I think we should be right the other ones. And I think we can beat Norway at home.
You want to see redemption and revenge. Let's call it revenge.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Carlo, what are you thinking? Gattuso, is he the right man, and who is going to be the difference maker?
I think at this stage it's about the recruitment process and who you bring in. But I think the Moise Kean is the player they need to look at.
In the short term, at the very least, okay.
Yeah, Moise Kean is an underrated player. Such an amazing
A couple
talent.
of good solo goals as well.
He had a
Scored for Italy.
great season. Great season for Fiorentina. Hopefully he comes south, but that's different. We'll see. But I think that it's more about recruitment. The talent pool is obviously restricted, and it's hard to find the right kind of player. But I think it's there. It's just you got to look.
Okay, let's finish up. But first I want to go through the apparel here, because this is the other side of the planet, but still there's plenty of Serie A stuff here. And Paul, take us through this scarf just for a moment.
This is a very special one. This was given to me many years ago by one of the members of the Fossa, who are no longer an ultra group. So the Curva Sud basically took them over, but they were the first.
And so when were they around?
Late 70s into the 80s and maybe the early 90s too. So,
Okay.
but
So they saw the resurgence from when Milan weren't that good.
Yeah,
and they came
absolutely.
through with Berlusconi, Sacchi, and okay. Let's go this one here, Carlo.
This is the first title-winning jersey that Napoli had.
87.
Yep. So Dios,
Maradona on the back. We'll get a
gotta have
picture of that.
You got to have that. Very unique.
The away strip there, very unique, yes.
Yeah, the away strip's always been my favourite.
Back in the days when
Right, yes.
anyone could win Serie A in the mid 80s, even Verona got one. We're talking even Juventus, Roma winning back then. Milan got one or two. Inter, unfortunately for you guys,
It was more competitive.
more competitive it was, yeah.
It was.
But that was back in the days, and that's another discussion. 8 Italians in every starting 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And but pre-Bosman, Bosman ruling came around this era with Sam's jersey. Take us through that.
Yeah, I believe 95-96 season with the Baggio, Weah, Savicevic, Marco Simone era. The third jersey. Then they had the yellow one for some special games, the European Super Cup against Arsenal. but I've always loved this blue one, and they sort of brought a bit of a blue one back a few years ago. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favourites.
And what about the ones on the table? Sam's bought his show and tell bucket here of loads of jerseys.
Yeah. We've got the Fiorentina. I think this is like a 97 when there was a Stefan Schwarzer, Swedish midfielder, giving Gabriel a lot of service. This is the
Lentini Opal.
Lentini Opal one with the
Scarlatti
era. Of course, this needs no explanation. The 1994 World Cup. And this one is also a very special one for me. This is Messina away from the noughties, 2006, 2007.
Because Sam has a lot of Sicilian roots as well.
This one I wore a lot when I was in Germany in 2006 for the World Cup in Germany, the 21 with Andrea Pirlo. On the back, I love the white, like Carlo loves his away jerseys.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And then we've got Sampdoria here. They survived the Serie A
Great to hear.
debacle.
Great to see.
Okay, and this is what, ASICS, this is 1990.
1990, 1991. Look, the unbelievable. I think even the great Mihailovic was in that squad. Mancini, Vialli, Vjekovod. This one, when you see it, you only think of one player. Paul Gascoigne. Well, yeah, you're exactly right. I don't though. I think of Beppe Signori. I think he won 3 Capocannonieri in a row with that. Excuse the marks. They've been sitting in a box for a good 20, 30 years. They haven't come out.
I have a very quick Beppe Signori story. When the A-League was first starting, I received a phone call from Beppe Signori's manager. I don't know how he received my number, and he wanted to know what would it take to get Beppe to come to play in the A-League. So that was 15 years ago.
Cash.
Wow.
Much cash that we didn't have at.
I think he was earning Hungarian cash at that time, wasn't he?
I think he was. It was something like that. So yeah, we could have had Signori in the A-League.
I would have loved.
If only they were sponsored by Banca di Roma. They could have done it. And you've got the Italia. Okay, nice little anecdote there from Paul Schiavo, and now we've got this. When's this from? This was
a remake.
Yeah,
This was a remake of the '94 training team.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And we'll finish with this for the Milanisti.
Yes.
Now you might have seen this on Sushi
I was
Mango.
going to say it's a sushi.
All right, if I get one of you guys a fake mustache,
Sam will pass.
Yep. This is, again, the 95, 96. This is, when I think of Budge, always walking out onto the field with this one. And thanks to the Sushi Mango boys, too, that they've made this very famous. When I first saw one of their videos, I was like, wow, someone else in Australia actually has this jacket
there's two
too.
in Australia.
Yeah. So this is another one of them. So Carlo from Sushi Mango, sorry to disappoint you, but I've got one too.
Well, it's a beautiful collection. Here's Sam's Inter collection. Coming out.
Exactly. A lot of dust.
Yeah, a lot of dust.
Like their trophy cabinet, nothing in it.
So plenty of Serie A. We'll say we're all fanboys, obviously, but fans for a couple of generations. It's lovely to have you on the podcast, guys, and it's good to see you all again. Paul,
thank you so much.
Carlo, Sam, thanks for sharing your thoughts with the culture community. Destination Calcio here in Brisbane.